Today we're going to learn about some behavioral ecology. Have you ever wondered how genes and the environment affect an organism's behavior? Well, sure you have. It's a question that tickles everyone's fancy. So through the course of this little adventure, we're going to discuss a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, because this is where it's at. So today, I'm going to tell you about innate behaviors, imprinting, not like the werewolves do in Twilight, but courtship behaviors, conditioning, modes of communication, and social behaviors. I know y'all are excited, so let's hop to it!
Innate behaviors are fixed and caused by genetic programming. This means that different kinds of environments do not change these behaviors. So, human babies in China exhibit some same behaviors as a baby in Guatemala, although their environments are very different. Usually, the organism has not seen this particular behavior before and just knows how to do it. A sweet example of this is the three-spined stickleback fish's reaction to the color red. The stickleback fish sees a regular fish and does not care much and goes on with its normal fishy life. As you can see, the stickleback fish automatically becomes very aggressive at the sight of this red-bellied fish. This reaction is encoded within the genes of the fish so that it will react this way toward any red-bellied things, even if it's not a fish. A fixed action potential, or FAP, is a concept that describes a sequence of behavioral acts that are essentially unchangeable and usually carried to completion once initiated. A baby smiling is one example of this. This cute little kidlum had the reaction of smiling when it sees its parent or two darker spots on a circle, like a face. So basically, you may be thinking you're a wonderful, hilarious parent who can make your baby smile with all your funny little puns. But actually, those reactions may just be that baby's instinct and it would smile at really anything with a face.
There are two types of conditioning, classical and operant. Classical conditioning is learning to associate a totally unrelated stimulus with a reward. A neutral signal is placed before a naturally occurring reflex. Pavlov did an experiment about this where he had got dogs to salivate when they heard a bell by relating a treat to the sound of a bell. Operant conditioning is learning from trial and error. Many times the promise of a reward increases the behavior. For example, a lion can be trained for the circus. This lion standing on a chair and doing other tricks are voluntary behaviors. The food treat is a positive reinforcement because it is given and it increases the behavior, showing operant conditioning of the lion.
Unlike the innate behaviors we just chit-chatted about, some behaviors must be learned and are not just written in your genes. Specifically, I'm gonna tell y'all about imprinting. These are learned behaviors that are limited to a critical time period. So, in simpler terms, some things have to be heard and taught at a specific time or else they may never be learned. An example of this is the songs of a male white-crowned sparrow. The critical period for this sparrow is when it's 10 to 50 days old, so when it shows its mating song during this time, it can sing the heavenly and enticing song perfectly. But if this sparrow does not learn this song during the critical period, it is not able to sing it correctly ever. This causes him to not get any of the ladies because he does not have the song. Social behaviors are any kind of interaction between two or more animals. Males must find a way to interact with their species and find a lady to mate with. They can be social by aggression, courtship, and cooperation. In agonistic behavior, there's a little fight to see who gets the lady. Most animals perform rituals with each other, which is the use of symbolic activity. Usually no fangs or other deadly weapons are used because they want to win the competition, not kill part of their species. For example, when two rattlesnakes dance in a circle. If animals do injure each other during a ritual, natural selection and survival of the fittest takes its course. Animals control a certain amount of territory and usually try to mark it with pheromones. Territories are used for feeding, mating, rearing young, or combinations of these activities. Animals perform a lek or a mating display done by a male. The ladies come check out the males and pick which one they want to father their offspring. In a large majority of species, reproducing individuals are promiscuous, meaning they don't have lasting relationships. An example of social behavior is a group of lions surrounding an antelope in order to kill it. This is a social behavior because they are all communicating in order to kill one organism.
Hey girl, you know you drive me crazy. One more push the rhythm in my hand. Still will never understand why you hang around. I see what's going down. Cover up with makeup in the mirror.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows?
Certain species have ways of informing other individuals of the same species of certain things. They use this for territoriality, communication, warnings, among other things. They can omit information with visual, auditory, chemical, tactile, and electrical signals. Some species emit chemical odor signals called pheromones. Members of the same species smell them, read the signal, and respond to it. Bacteriaquariums use chemicals to communicate. If one bacteria were to light up, then the bacteria would not survive, so they communicate so they can all light up at one time.
In order for mating to occur, there are many courtship activities to occur before a female organism chooses a mate. Mostly, animals will regard other animals of their species as threatening, so this courtship behavior lets them know they are of the opposite sex, are not threats to each other, and that they are in particular physical conditions needed for mating. These behaviors can also help an organism select the best fitting organism to mate with if there are other options. One example of this is the dance of flies. These flies dance in swarms in order to attract females. Eventually, a female will select a male from the group and they will fly off and mate.
Oh my gosh!
Why me crack it, why me roll? Why me crack that soldier boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me crack that soldier? Why me crack that soldier? Why me crack that soldier? Why me?
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there. telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people